welcome to this week's Weekly Seed. Today we're going to talk about venues and about how if you can be creative by knowing your market, knowing who you're targeting, in using some unique venues, you can actually gain a really big advantage in seminar and workshop marketing. There's some primary do's and don'ts, so let's go over those first. In the green are the do's. So you definitely do want to hold your dinner seminar at what we would call a nice restaurant. Basically, you want to find a place that people would go to celebrate, someplace where the experience would be enjoyable for everybody. You want them to remember that. Remember that people don't necessarily remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. So make them feel fantastic. Give them a wonderful experience at your dinner seminar. And you'll get a lot more appointments as a result of it, and people will remember you for a lot longer. Another do, if you're going to do a Social Security workshop, typically colleges, community colleges, universities, and libraries are going to be where you want to hold those. Essentially, you want to hold it at a place where people are going to feel like the community is putting on the event. It's an educational event, so you want to provide that educational feel at the venue where you're holding it. And that's, of course, if you're not serving food. If you are serving food at a Social Security seminar, then you want to go back to bullet point number 1 there. There's also some don'ts. You definitely do not want to hold it at a low-end restaurant. Do not cheap out on the food. I know that it's very frustrating to hold an event and feel like you're paying for people who are just there to eat the food, but the reality is if you hold it at a low-end restaurant and sort of cheap out on the food, you're going to get a lower quality of prospect at your event, and you're definitely going to get a lower response rate, so don't do that. The other thing you have to look out for is, even though libraries are a great idea for your Social Security workshops, if they're in a neighborhood that's not a great neighborhood, there are some libraries that are located more in industrial neighborhoods, think about who your potential client is. Think about the person that you enjoy working with. If they would go there, then hold it there. If they wouldn't go there, then don't hold it there. And now let's talk about the really exciting stuff, the unique venues that you can use. And you may have heard some other marketing companies tell you, don't ever hold your event at a country club. I'm here to tell you that is not necessarily true. What you need to do is make sure you speak with a marketing expert about it, because there definitely are some questions we'd need to ask you about the particular country club. Is it very exclusive? Do people sort of view it as a place that only members can go to? And also there's ways that you can word your invitation that can make country clubs work very well. We actually have several advisors who do country clubs, one in particular that I'm thinking of, that often gets over a 1% response, 1.2 to 1.3% response on every event he does, holding them at a country club. So keep that in mind. Hotels. Typically you're going to have companies tell you, us included, don't use hotels as a venue. And here's why. People will tend to think about a hotel as, oh, they're going to try to sell me something. So they sort of get in this defensive mode. However, we also have an advisor that consistently does seminars in hotels. He gets a 0.75% response on that, and there really isn't a good, nice restaurant in his area, so kind of the hotel in his area is where people go. So be open to talking to your marketing expert about hotels. High-end business centers, if you've got a place in your area that will rent out some conference room space and it's a well-known place. If you've got a lot of small business owners, Chamber of Commerce could also be an option for you. Cafes, you'd also want to talk to a marketing expert about. If it's a higher end cafe, it's a well-known kind of a place, depending on the time of day you're doing, that may be an option for you. Local restaurants, here's a great tip for a unique venue. You might have a restaurant locally where they're only open for lunch, but they have a really nice vibe, a really nice feel, and they may open for you for your dinner if you promise a certain number of folks. But again, definitely talk to somebody before you do that. And then churches. Believe it or not, we had an advisor do a Social Security workshop in a church and get a 1.67% response. Now again, this is not a typical recommendation, and certainly I wouldn't encourage you to go out and do that before talking to someone, but think about these things that are outside the box. And then catering. Maybe you don't have a great, nice restaurant or a restaurant that will open dinner for you, but maybe you've got a fantastic place in the area that people know about and you could get them to cater to another location. So those are just some ideas for you on unique venues, help you get some more responses at your seminars, help you differentiate yourself from your competition.